Hey guys, how you going? Hey guys, I want to tell you about the sponsor of this video, who's a business that actually supports the truth. It's EMF Harmonised, and they sell EMF protection technology. The technology filters out the harmful RF waves, radio frequency waves, and has been scientifically proven to do so. Since you're using a computer, phone or tablet right now to watch this video, the EMFs are actually damaging our DNA as we speak. In other words, consider getting some EMF protection from the link below, as you'll protect yourself, you'll help the growth of my channel, and you'll help a fellow truth supporting business. And I will definitely be ordering something. Some sort of protection, guys. So look at this. This is really good. It's exactly what some people would want. And the link will be down below. Okay, guys. I'm sorry I'm not able to get to answer everybody's emails at the moment. I did get severely spammed the other day. I had about 50 or 60 emails in 2 days from the one person trying to talk me out of believing in what I believe in. And I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. And you don't spam people. Oh, that's not the way to go about it. Anyway. Okay, there's something I want to mention before I even start here. If you are interested in what is going on with Shaun Attwood, okay, I think it is important. People do need to know, because we're going to find out that few people we follow or followed aren't legit. Now, if you want to know more about Shaun Attwood, you come to Poet Laundrette channel. I'll link them down below. And Chance's channel. And I'll link that down below. They all have a lot. And also, brand YouTube was hacked apparently. So there are many videos on that now, mainly from little channels, and I don't know why. Anyway, and What is Truth podcast, follow it. I will link this one down below. There is a lot of information. And Drogyne. I hope I said that right. I think I did. There's a lot on Shaun Attwood and what happened with Callie, okay? So if you don't know what happened with these people, please go and follow these channels. You will learn a lot. I have been learning a lot. And because we can't just stop watching TV or the media, mainstream media, and then you can't automatically trust the alternative media, because there are people in here who are controlled opposition. Or they just want part of the, you know, they want the popularity or part of the story or whatever. And what I meant by that is they want to, like, insert themselves into it, like I think Shaun has. Anyway, but I'm not going to bang on about him. I've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. So if you do want to know more about what's going on with Shaun Attwood and Daddygate, please go to these channels. You will learn a lot. And I think there's a few more, and I can't remember who they are right now. Okay, anyway, let's get on with it. 17 and proud. Victorians, get up, get on with life, and do it without wearing a mask. No one has the right to stop you breathing fresh air. No one has the right to hide your amazing smile. No one has the right to muzzle you. You are not a slave, so stop being treated like one. I think you have to just get out. Get out and do your thing, like you normally would. This is from Pepe Pepe's Lives Matter. Pepe Lives Matter, sorry. My goodness. Weiner laptop, Hunter laptop, Ghislaine documents, all centred around crimes against children and humanity. Panic. And yes, I know I was saying the name wrong yesterday. That was on purpose. So yes, I will say HB. I can say his name. I can say her name. I'll have to be able to say her name. If Shaun can say her name, I can say her name. I'm sorry, guys. It's just, I think there's a really good lesson in that thing. In the Shaun Attwood thing, I really think there's a very good lesson in there for people who followed him. From DOQ, did the Bidens have a private island near Epstein Island, or is that fake news? Let's have a look and see if anyone... Yep, they had land on a private island, Water Island. They didn't own the whole thing, but the islands are pretty close, and they were all part of the submarine underground base system they, US, had made down there during World War II and beyond. Okay, so a lot of this is going to be theory, okay? Joe's brother does own property on an island close to Little St. James. Yep, lobbyist bought Tropical Island from Biden's brother. So he obviously did. As a matter of fact, but Hunter was in charge of selling it. Oh, look, I'm just going to say it. Stuff it. Sorry, guys. Also, who can afford a private island on a $174,000 a year salary? Joe's brother owns an island that has a submarine dock. Epstein's has a submarine dock. Maxwell owns a submarine company and she's licensed. Yeah, some of that's not theory, okay? Some of that is fact. Okay. So let's get on with it. There's something else here going on. Chatter increasing, indicating massive shift in Democrat Party. HB, yes, what someone told me to say. It is better. Or bidet. What? Yeah. Or bidet. HB email scandal has rocked the boat so hard it's begun to take on water. Chatter is indicating that DNC and the JB campaign are currently communicating with each other, removing JB from the ticket, forcing a new vote across America. Yes, the DNC is crunching serious numbers to verify whether HRC would replace JB. We just got this info less than an hour ago. Harris is being briefed on incoming changes. Sanders is also a likely candidate to replace JB. However, Sanders has issues that would end his political career twice over if they came to light. Mayor Pete is on the shortlist among Bloomberg and Warren. Bloomberg is comped in HB emails, and Mayor Pete has skeletons overflowing from his closet. Let's just say his love life is spread quite thin. Mayor Pete, I hope I said that. Oh. As far as we've seen, the possibilities are these. Biden out, non-recognisable. Warren Harris, 20%. Hillary Harris, 60%. Bernie Harris, 10%. Questions and Harris, 10% unforeseen candidate. If anyone is interested in just how large the HB email scandal truly is, please know and note we are getting info via mail, phone, email and fax. It's flowing in like someone unclogged a drain. If anyone else is interested in the HB scandal, as horrid and inhumane as it is, give extra attention as to where it's being filmed. Location of event more damning than event itself. Every news outlet is in receivership of the HB Drive info and still communicating with their legal departments over release. Once released, US justice officials will have zero choice but to arrest HB. JB and or HB will not make it to election day as free men. HB emails shed light on a car accident, which I read yesterday in my email, in my video. And all links will be to, I'll put a link to my blogger down below, and all the links for everything I'm reading will be there other than the channels that I've advised you to go and see. They will be underneath. Okay, the censorship you're witnessing is only because the information in HB's drives is corroborating evidence, a legal keystone to make the cases against them airtight and to prove without a doubt. Keep watching the news for now. Search articles manually. This week will be jarring and people will act out as the reality they've been comfortable living is ripped from underneath them, as we saw from that lady, I think. And that lady, yep, a lot of people said she was reading something. I think she was looking at herself in her phone, because your eyes go slightly to the side when you look at the camera, and your picture of you instead of the camera itself. I know because I have trouble doing that, okay? I have trouble looking at the camera. I tend to look at the screen. And that to me, that looks like what she was doing. She was watching herself do it. And I don't know whether that makes it better or worse. Because if you can see yourself doing that, why would you keep going? Oh my goodness. Someone stuck a mirror in front of me when I was going off my brain, and I'd probably stop dead and think, oh my goodness, how does that look? Oh dear, not that I care how I look, but just to myself, you know. Anyway, Zero Hedge, Commission changes rules to mute microphones during the next debate. Great. And the person who's doing the moderator is abrasive, dismissive, and disrespectful, and very biased. And I'm pretty sure he used to work for one of the Democrat agencies. But anyway, the biased news. President Trump on call with staff. I think JB has a scandal coming up that's going to make him the most impotent candidate. We found stuff yesterday. We gave it to the press. AP. This woman. Look at her. She's looking at the camera, I think. I don't think she's reading a script. She's looking at the camera, at herself in the camera. And as I said, I don't know what's worse, that you'd be looking at yourself and not see there's something wrong here, or that she's reading a script. And this one that was from 3 days, 3 nights, 4 to 6% lost forever. This is what radicalisation looks like, and that's what the media are doing to people. They're radicalising them. That's why people need to wake up and turn the bloody TV off. Sorry, guys. I don't normally swear because I know people have kids that watch it, but people need to turn the TV off. Rise Up Melbourne says, looks like Ireland is following Melbourne's plan, about to have the same draconian lockdowns, all as the winter months about to hit its shores. How suspiciously convenient. It's almost as if this COVID is a seasonal thing, beginning to sound like our old friend the flu. Oh dear God, Ireland, please. Don't listen to them. Well, look, what they're doing in Victoria, I think, is they're setting up, like that lady the other day, they're setting up these things, they're getting certain police in and arresting people because other people are opening up and they're not having that problem. I think those are setups to go on the media to warn people against opening up. You need to take the mask off. You need to walk out of your house. And you need to go about your business. Everybody. And I mean everywhere. We all need to do it. I will not wear a mask. And if I went to a store and they said I have to wear a mask, I would turn around and walk back out again. Simple as that. No big deal. Nothing. I'm just walking out. Thank you. I'll go somewhere else. Okay. I know it's easier said than done, but I'm starting to think the way they've been programming us, and this has been for like at least 100 years since the media came out. The way they've been programming us, have they pussified us? Have they turned us all into wusses? Who's strong enough to stand up and say no? I'm not going to do this. Because I won't. But I've been looking at all this stuff for 10 years or more, and I kind of know I think I know what's going on, and I'm not playing this game. It's a game, and I'm not playing it. Because every time you put on a mask and walk into any store, they're laughing at you. Not the people in the store. They're being laughed at too. Anyone who's wearing one is being laughed at by the elite. They sit there in their little protected palaces or mansions and they laugh. Every time we do what they say, they just go, how easy was that? I'm not trying to insult anyone here. Like, we've all gone through it. We've all, at one time, we believed them, okay? So I'm not saying I'm innocent either. But I do think we need to realise what has happened and just turn around and say no. Okay, so from CJ Truth, there may be a horrible video come out today or early this week, as we know. Pray for wisdom on how to share information if true. If it is true, I repeat, do not share it on social media. Your account will be taken out immediately. Please pray. And from Nasty One, N1 Nasty One, sorry. I've read it so many times you think I'd know by now. No, it's not just you thinking it. Is it me, or is Canada, New Zealand, Australia and the United Kingdom starting to go down the drain already with the left-wing propaganda and politics? And no, it's not just you thinking that. Every major country controlled by the British Crown is suffering the harshest lockdowns. Australia, UK, New Zealand and Canada. This is not a coincidence. And this busted UK's US Ambassador Kim Darroch, I think that's how you say it, investigated over fears he leaked classified White House secrets to CNN reporter lover. There you go. You know what? The Biden, Ghislaine and Weiner thing is going to pull the whole thing down together. That's why I think they waited for all the evidence. Because I can see the whole world, I can see in my country, like the politicians are panicking. They know what's coming. Especially Dan Andrews. He's just like making it up as he goes along. He's a twit. I would not listen to a incompetent twit like that. I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a rant today. 6% DJ Patriot. Information keeps coming out to the public. JB-linked firm made major investments in Chinese corporations. From the True Pundit. Let's have a look. Just make it bigger so hopefully you can see that. Democrat President candidate JB's son-in-law investment firm has made investments in Chinese corporations over the last few years. Biden's daughter Ashley married Philadelphia head and neck doctor Howard Crean in 2012. Crean, who is currently advising JB for his campaign, remains, I just said it over there, didn't I? Remains chief medical officer at the firm Startup Health, which has tied itself in partnerships with Chinese corporations through the years. Startup Health boosted two major China-based corporations in 2018 and most recently praised China's response to the China virus crisis. China's systematic and urgent response to maintain the crisis has become a kind of playbook for other countries working to ramp up similar impromptu yet systemised efforts to stay the spread of this BS. A Startup Health post in March states, the China-based Medibound Corporation, which connects Chinese patients with American doctors, has gotten help from Startup Health in their initiatives venturing into the US market. Likewise, Startup Health considers China-based Ping An one of the most largest insurance corporations, a startup health investor and partner. And you can read more, but I'll let you do that. The links will be on my blogger, and the link for my blogger will be underneath, down below. Okay, from Bruno Barking. Good name. Midnight Riders. A clear reference to Paul Revere's famous ride, warning New England villagers of the start of the American Revolution. Was last night, 1819, the mirror of that event? 1819. Exactly 245 years, 6 months later. 17. Oh, wow. Do not glorify us, we are all patriots, honour those who serve for God, humanity and country. Last night, 1819, was the exact 6-month mirror of April 1819. We got the gunship video posted in the wee hours of the 19. Buckle up is what you do when preparing for a horse ride. Yep, that's why I said buckle up last night, because that came out and I just went, I think this is... From everything that's going on, I can see a bigger picture here with all the laptops and all the evidence, and I can see how it's just about going to take the whole world by storm, if you want to put it that way. Okay, number 3, we had a hint last week, a lantern signal from Kaylee, like Paul Revere looked for in the Old North Church before his midnight ride. Oh, now that makes sense. A press secretary has a similar role as did Paul Revere, delivering a message. Like Paul Revere was detained by British patrols before his ride, and she was locked out of a Twitter, had me at gunpoint, she said. POTUS mentioned Revere's ride at an NRA speech in 2017. He also warned us someone else is coming. And the whole poem. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friend, if the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft the belfry arch of the North Church Tower as a signal light. 1 if by land and 2 if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to arm. Then he said good night, and with muffled oar, silently rowed to the Charleston shore, just as the moon rose over the bay, where the swinging wide at her moorings lay, the Somerset British man of war, a phantom ship with each mast and spar, across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide. Meanwhile his friend through alley and street wanders and watches with eager ears, till in the silence around him he hears the muster of men at the barrack door, the sound of arms and the tramp of feet, and the measured tread of the grenadiers marching down to their boat on the shore. Then he climbed up to the tower of the church, up the wooden stairs with a stealthy tread, to the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch, on the sombre rafters that round him made masses and moving shapes of shade. By the trembling ladder, steep and tall, to the highest window in the wall, where he paused to listen and look down, a moment on the roofs of the town, and the moonlight flowing all over all. Beneath in the churchyard lay the dead, in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still, that he could hear like a sentinel's tread, the watchful night wind as it went, creeping along from tent to tent, and seeming to whisper all is well. A moment only he feels the spell of the place and the hour and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead. For suddenly all his thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the bay, a line of black that bends and floats on the rising tide like a bridge of boats. Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with heavy stride, On the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's side, now gazed on the landscape far and near. Then impetuous stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle girth, but mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower of the old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and sombre and still, and low as he looks on the belfry's height, a glimmer and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle and bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till full on his sight a second lamp in the belfry burns. A hurry of hoofs in a village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath from the pebbles, in passing, a spark. Struck out by a steed that flies fearless and fleet. That was all, and yet through the gloom and the light, the fate of a nation was riding that night. And the sparks struck out by that steed in his flight, kindled the land into flame with its heat. He has left the village and mounted the steep, and beneath him tranquil and broad and deep is the mystic meeting the ocean tides, and under the alders that skirt its edge, now soft on the sand, now loud on the ledge, is heard the tramp of his steed as he rides. It was 12 by the village clock when he crossed the bridge into Medford town. He heard the crowing of the cock and the barking of the farmer's dog, and felt the damp of river fog that rises when the sun goes down. It was 1 by the village clock when he galloped into Lexington. He saw the gilded weathercock swim in the moonlight as he passed, and the meeting house windows blank and bare gaze at him with spectral glare, as if they already stood aghast at the bloody work they would look upon. It was 2 by the village clock when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the bleating of the flock and the twitter of birds among the trees, and felt the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadows brown. And one was safe and asleep in his bed, who at the bridge would be first to fall, who at that day would be lying dead, pierced by a British musket ball. You know the rest in the books you've read, how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball from behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, then crossing the fields to emerge again, under the trees at the turn of the road, and only pausing to fire and load. So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm to every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo for evermore. For born on the night wind of the past, through all our history to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed and the midnight message of Paul Revere. And yes, you did hear me break down there for a minute. That happens when I read something that's hard-hitting or that hits me deep. It also happens when I don't ask me to say the American national anthem or sing it, or the Australian one, or any one actually, because they all do that to me. It's like I don't know. I like how each country has their own song and their own pride and their own nationality and nation. I love it that we're all different. Okay, let's continue on. I'm all right. I had to break in the middle of that and go and have a cigarette and come back. Oh dear. Anyway, that was part of this thread. Buckle up. Yep, he's done it again. Put that bit again. And turned and tightened his saddle girth. He's highlighted. 8. Not sure, but I'm buckled up. AC 130 gunship lights up the night. And that was the post from the board. The post was just before 1 a.m. on October the 19th. Paul Revere was detained by the British sometime after 12:30, April 19th, and released. His horse, Brown Beauty, was confiscated for use by British patrol. Paul Revere continued his mission on foot. Okay. Yep, just pointing out about 11 o'clock, Revere set off after narrowly avoiding capture just outside of Charleston. Sometime after midnight in Lexington. About 12:30, he arrived in Lexington carrying the message. Anyway, well, I think what they're saying is no matter what, don't stop. Keep going. Even if you have to find a new... If you get kicked off anywhere, new name, new email. Keep going. 10. Lexington and Concord route to send out the warning April 1819. And it's an interactive map of Paul Revere's ride. 11. Our message of warning today. WH clean. In other words, White House clean. SIG unity. Stay together. Hold the line. Fight back. Keep charging, Midnight Riders. The mission of Paul Revere was to warn two American patriots, Sam Adams and John Hancock, that the British intended to seize them. Yesterday, the left threatened two men, Trump with 8645 message and HB with Ice Hunter message. Oh, yep, Ice Hunter on the shelf. How are these people getting this? Anyway, and this one was... Okay, yep. Warning Samuel Andrews and... Okay, that looks like the end of the thread. Or is there more? Hang on. You always got to click because you just don't know. No, okay. I think that is it. Just making sure, guys. Yep, that is it. Okay, that's still a thread. That's why I'm sitting here thinking, why is it still talking about that? Okay, from the sharp edge. More trouble for the JB and HB. A second laptop belonging to HB's business contacts in Ukraine has been seized by the Ukrainian law enforcement. So there you go. It's a Daily Mail. So the New Zealanders into Victoria was a distraction from the leaked emails of the Vic Chief Health Officer, Brett Sutton, contradicting his inquiry statements. It was a total political distraction conjured up by those who have a lot to lose, and the media were all on board. There you go. The hotel inquiry to hold extraordinary sittings as new emails contradict. Is that why they're focusing on the hotel thing? However, the entire inquiry is a distraction also. It has no real powers and was used as cover and gave the Victorian state government the excuse needed not to answer for their actions. It's all a distraction. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to stand up. And that's all you have to do. You don't even have to go to protest. You just have to take the mask off and go about your daily life. Stop listening to them. Stop listening to the media. That's all you need to do. Thread, the meaning for the certain number in the Bible. In the Bible, that number symbolizes overcoming the enemy and complete victory. God overcame the sins of rebellious humans when he began to flood the earth through rain on the 17th of the second Hebrew month. Noah's Ark and its 8 passengers rested on the mountains of Ararat on the 17th of the 7th month, right in the middle of God's annual holy period known as the Feast of the Tabernacles. Oh, hang on. Well, back. Jesus Christ gained a complete victory over death and the grave when God resurrected him near sunset on Nissan. Okay, there's too many of that letter in here. I can't read it all. I'm going to trip myself up. In the book of 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, the 17th mention of the word love comes when the Apostle Paul states it's the greatest gift of all. God's unending love And this one here, I'm trying not to... I'm trying to dance around it. Is truly victorious over all things. Those who stay faithful to the big man, our good Father, to the end of their lives will gain the victory over the grave when they are miraculously brought back to life. Going to be biblical. From Nasty One, N1 Nasty One, did you know that Elon Musk owns a tunnel boring company called the Boring Company? I wonder if it's connected. And Fox 13 has confirmed the existence of a criminal investigation into Operation Underground Railroad. Attorney General Shaun Attwood has been praising Operation Underground Railroad as recently as Tuesday afternoon. Watch what happened when we asked him about the investigation. What is this? I'm going to have to watch that. I should have watched it before. That looks interesting. And it's from True Reporting, who I can't find anymore. I don't know why. Anyway, Jason Ming said, what are the odds that HB has been a victim of abuse in his entire life and is the reason he is a crack addict and also the reason he flipped on his own father? And True Reporting said this theory has to be 100% correct. HB was a victim of pedophilia. HB knows what they do when they're behind closed doors. He also became an abuser. That's the lifestyle of the elite. Did the victim, HB, throw his accusers under the bus? Time will surely tell. And they all have committed crimes against children, and the truth will shock the world. And it will. And that by Pepe Lives Matter. I had a cat named Peppy, and that's how I spelt it, but I call him Peppy. I think that's how you say it, Peppy. Oh dear. Gitmo 2.0. Sitrep, another out-of-sequence bird making its way to the spa today. We've had 2 of these in the past week. Yep, they're on their way. A 1981 Gates Learjet Corp 35A, fixed-wing multi-engine, 2 engines, 10 seats. Med Air, Wilmington, DE, US. Okay. And this one from Tiffany Fitzhenry. I barely tweeted the last year because I've been very busy. I'm sure she has. She's a pretty good digger. Let's just say you're going to have movies and TV shows you want to watch again. And a place to watch them. Far better than anything that currently exists. What's coming is going to blow your mind. Hang in there. I'm hanging. We're all hanging. No, I'm ready. I'm calm and I'm ready. Let's go. Jack Flynn, be not afraid. HB's computer camera roll of nearly 25,000 images is loaded with sexually explicit selfies and porn, which the Post is not publishing, but also has snapshots from the B's childhood and vacations. With Dad sniffing him, he learned to snort coke. Must have been some childhood. And from Terry Camp, HB's computer camera roll turned over to Bannon and Giuliani contains 2,500 images. There you go. From the Gateway Pundit. I'd read it, but I can't. It's I'll let you read it. I'll put the links in my blogger. Okay. And again, this one from the Daily Mail. Ukrainian lawmaker says second laptop connected to HB seized, which is the same thing I just read before. I'm even doubling up on if I double up on Facebook and Twitter, I'm sorry, but I'm just sharing so much everywhere and then bookmarking them to share here that it's getting a little bit confusing. Oh dear. Aussie mum. Is Australia's Epstein going down? Crown Casino to be investigated over potential money laundering. You know who it is, don't you? Is this Packer? Oh. Go away. Is it Packer? Okay, well, Crown Casino. I think it's owned by Packer. Packer got taken to question the other day. I know that. Have any of you guys heard that? Okay. The inquiry is also investigating claims raised in the media last year that the company was turning a blind eye to money laundering from high roller VIPs being bought in to gamble at its Perth and Melbourne casinos by private junket operators. These operators have long been associated with Asian organised crime elements. Former Crown Executive Chairman James Packer told the inquiry last week that the casinos were vulnerable targets for infiltration by organised crime groups. Yes, I'm sure they are, and I'm sure you're not all innocent there, mate. He said internally at Crown there would likely be a fair amount of panic and finger pointing about who's to blame. Frankly, it goes to the top, he said. The board and directors are ultimately responsible. That's very clear in the law. So that's what's going on here. It's happening it's going to be happening everywhere. Little bits here and there. Little bits are coming out. And from Dr. Russell McGregor, I can't talk today. The real essential workers will come into their own when the horrors drop. Grandmas, grandpas, mums, dads, aunties, uncles, brothers and sisters shall offer comfort and support, as will ministers, priests, rabbis, clerks, monks and elders. Because the Great Awakening worldwide. And this from Oz 17. Can you believe we've gone from we must flatten the curve to the DS being exposed on a daily basis, a mass worldwide awakening, and the end of corrupt governments? Wow, talk about a well-executed plan. Must have taken at least 20 years to put together. It's been going on for quite a while behind the scenes. We didn't know any of this. Okay. And I'm not sure if I already read this one out the other day. And I will read this one from Ned Kelly because, look, I could be wrong about ScoMo, okay? I think he's under pressure to do what he's told. And if he's out there and he's done something wrong, that is to expose him. But Ned Kelly here finds it disappointing that a lot of the Aussies following me want to blow off the fact that our PM follows many pedo and porn accounts on Twitter. Quite a few have made excuses and given him a free pass. This is one of the biggest bombshells in Australia. He was busted back in the 80s for child, then he moved to New South Wales. They got him off the charges. Look into that. So, look, we will find out. We will. Yes, and I did read that one. Okay, I'm caught up now with all the posts from here. So I'm going to put this video together because I'm going to have to edit it now because I said the names a few times. Had to stop the video so that I can cut that bit off and then put the initials in instead. And hopefully, I'm sure once I've said it that I can't replace. So hang there with me, guys. If we go, you know where to find me. And don't forget, if you're worried about 5G, to check out the affiliate link down below. Protection from 5G. Okay, guys. Have a good one. Bye.